The Pick6 podcast is here and starts now.
My decision to bring in a new coach was based on the results of our game in Denver.
So that clip, every time I listen to that clip, with Terry Pegula, it just makes me say, what? It was the most pathetic end of the season press conference by a team I've seen in years. And I don't watch too many of them. But when I saw this one, saw a couple of clips via Twitter, I was just like, these guys are just two dum-dums. You fire a guy, you put a guy in place to become, you give him a promotion to become president. You pay him more money, and he sits there like a goof while you just ramble about that. Of course, the firing of Sean McDermott, and of course, the Keon Coleman situation, which I thought it was so pathetic and low class. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Pick6, Week 21. Conference championships are in the book. The Super Bowl is set. And it's time to roll, folks. It's time to roll. Here we go.
No safety deep. Oh, here he goes. He can try to beat him with his legs. As Ellis runs after him, and May got there. Drake May outraces the defender. And the Patriots.
Third down here over the middle. Cooper Kupp. It's in. Touchdown, Seahawks. 8 seconds left. Loading up near side Nakua. Is he out of bounds?
Oh my God.
3 seconds.
He's
They're going to run the clock. That's going to do it. The Seahawks soar to Super Bowl 60.
Sunday featured New England, Denver, Seattle, and of course the Rams. And these games were intriguing because one game finished 10-7. Snow was coming down, very chippy. Some play call decisions that were questioned and a bunch of other things. There was a plethora of just inaccurate things that happened in this game. New England gets to the Super Bowl. I'm not even going to get into statistics and all that. The Rams Seahawks game, which I thought was a really good football game. Sam Darnold came out and did what he needed to do. You know, a guy who's gone through a lot of ups and downs and stuff like that. Matt Stafford also playing very well. He was 22 for 35, 374, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Sam Darnold was fed. Sorry, not Sam Darnold. Speaking of Matt Stafford, was phenomenal in that game also. Puka, 9 receptions, 165, 1 touchdown. Devontae Adams, 4 receptions, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. And, I mean, fantastic. And then, of course, Sam Darnold, 25 for 36, 346, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He played the best game that he's played in the past, 6 or 7 weeks. Sam Darnold has not played well. And he found a way to finally come and play, and he played well. Of course, Jackson Smith and Jigba, of course, 10 receptions, 153, 1 touchdown. When you are a top flight receiver in the NFL, you cannot be stopped. The numbers for receivers this year in some of these games are absolutely astounding. It's just crazy. It's almost like getting 150 yards is the norm now. I mean, there are some games you have 80 yards, but the 80 yards, they might look small, but if you watch the plays, a couple 40-yard catches, a couple, stuff like that. But Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka were just absolutely eating the secondary. And I'm telling you right now, the receiving situation in the National Football League is only going to get better. This is where quarterbacking matters and offensive line. Got to give the offensive line shout out. When you have a good offensive line and you have a decent or good quarterback, receivers are going to be very happy. You see a lot of teams right now, their quarterback situation's a mess or the offensive line situation's a mess. Cincinnati, their offensive line situation is a mess. Cleveland, their quarterback situation is a mess. Minnesota, their quarterback situation is a mess. Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback right now. Arizona's quarterback situation is up in the air. So when you don't have those elements to produce points for your team, you're not going to win games. So, and neither of these teams that I mentioned are in the Super Bowl right now, right? And neither of these teams played in the conference championship or played in the wild card. Well, Pittsburgh played in the wild card, sorry, but Aaron Rodgers had one of those games. And Aaron Rodgers at 42 is going to have a good game and a bad game. So the Rams Seahawks winning the NFC Championship 31-27. And to New England and the Broncos for a second, it was just, the weather was pretty bad. Drake May only had 86 yards. Jarrett Stidham had 133 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Like, it just was one of those games. And again, now we're going to the Super Bowl where we got two teams that are people thought would make it. Let's be honest. If you came into the regular season and you said that these teams would be in the Super Bowl, you're lying. You're absolutely lying. I thought Seattle could be a playoff team. And I thought New England, I thought New England would be, just getting better. Maybe a 9-8 season or 8-9 season, something like that. I saw 10-7, 11-6 for Seattle because they had Sam Darnold, who could be good at times and poor at other times. And they had a fantastic defense. But I didn't see this coming. And if anybody said they saw this coming, they're lying. So congratulations to both teams. They're playing February 8th in Santa Clara. And predictions right now, I don't know. I don't know my predictions, but I'll probably have something by the end of the game. I'm leaning towards Seattle. I love New England's defense, but I'm leaning towards Seattle because of their defense. They're well coached on the defensive end. I'm just going to go with Seattle. The final score, quickly, 24-20. I don't think Sam Darnold is going to do what he did to the Rams. That Patriots defense is good. That's the best, one of the best defenses in the league and the best defense in the AFC East division. Buffalo's got a lot of work to do. So that's my thing for the Super Bowl. So my prediction is Seattle 24-20. Now, let me get down to some of the other big news that has absolutely just news that has really just taken over the NFL postseason. Like, let's be honest. I've never seen a postseason like this. So the Broncos fire OC Joe Lombardi after that loss. That's pathetic. Did you guys or any of you watch that game and watch the weather conditions? And on top of that, he had Jarrett Stidham. A week before that, he wouldn't even thought about firing this guy. But he fired him this week. And who's calling the plays? Last I checked, Sean... Wait, hold on. I'm just trying to... Sean Payton is not the coach and offensive coordinator, technically. Like, I don't understand, how are you firing an OC who pretty much has no control over the offense? You yourself has full autonomy because Sean Payton has a big ego. We saw that in how he treated Russell Wilson and all that other stuff, which was pathetic and childish. You fire your OC and then you wonder why you are where you are. I've never had any respect for Sean Payton, especially the stuff that he did when he was coaching New Orleans to my Vikings. All that stuff that him and, I forget that coordinator's name now, him and his henchmen, when they did all that stuff towards the team. But that's a whole different show for another day. But Sean Payton, all the best to you and your team. You just continue to do dumb-ass stuff and say dumb-ass stuff and make dumb-ass decisions. Like, I got to call it as I see it. Mike McCarthy got hired by the Steelers. Playoff career record, 13-11, got one Super Bowl. He has 180 regular season wins. And a lot of people question that move. Sorry, I apologize. Let me do that again. That was Harbaugh's stats. Mike McCarthy's stats: 174, 61% winning percentage, 11-11 in the playoffs, and 1 Super Bowl. And since I mentioned Harbaugh is going to the Giants. I think that's a good move. He can kind of change the culture there, work with Jackson, and do a lot of good things. As far as Mike McCarthy, 62 years old, from Pittsburgh, can run an offense, can call an offense, but I just don't think he's the guy. And they don't have a quarterback. You know, there's a word on the street that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, all that stuff, whatever. Come on. Pittsburgh needs to, drafting a quarterback might hold them back a year. Are they ready for that? I think Pittsburgh is trying to win now. So they're going to have to make a decision on that quarterback decision. They can't just sleep on that at all. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting and intriguing how these quarterback situations come apart with teams and stuff like that. But this is the NFL. And NFL is a big soap opera. So stay tuned. A lot of things could happen. Also, as you heard to start the show, that clip, the Buffalo Bills have promoted Joe Brady as head coach. I think he's a good hire. He's 36 years old. He's a young guy. He has a connection with Josh Allen and some of the players. I just feel that he needs to be 100% the offensive coordinator. Because you see a lot of these guys that are being promoted from passing game coach and water boy and all this stuff to offensive coordinator is ridiculous. The Buffalo Bills are a Super Bowl contending team as of right now. They need to have pieces that are Super Bowl-like. They don't have that right now, the defensive coordinator spot. I've heard and read some rumors, but I believe the Buffalo Bills are going to have to establish themselves with this defensive coordinator decision. Sean McDermott wasn't the greatest, but he was good at what he did. The guy that comes in to coach the defense is going to have to know what he's doing. He's going to have to know what he's doing. Otherwise, there's just not going to be any results. And if this team crumbles, who are you going to fire now? You're going to fire Joe Brady? No, you got to fire Brandon Beane because he's already ready to be fired and should be fired. He's already in the oven ready to be cooked. So Terry Pegula, who's lost his mind 20 years ago, has no idea what's going on, just wants to talk because he wants to be important, you know, embarrassing himself and the team. You know, it just kind of shows you sometimes why when you're the boss, you do things privately and not in public. And there's a professional way to do it. Terry Pegula was very unprofessional in that press conference. I'm just going to say that. So, I mean, Mike McCarthy going to the Steelers, Jesse Minter, we'll see what he could do. John Harbaugh to the Giants, Kevin Stefanski, Robert Saleh in Tennessee, and of course, Brian Daboll allegedly speculating that he could become the offensive coordinator. Jeff Hafley, if I got it right. And of course, the Browns today hiring Todd Monken, whoever he is. He's the former offensive coordinator in Baltimore as their head coach. The Browns hiring Todd Monken. The Browns are done. The Browns are done. So next, I want you to hear this clip from Stefon Diggs. And I'm going to close the show on this because this is a very interesting clip because I have a different take on this. And for a lot of players, athletes in sports, I want you to hear me out on this. Because this is some real stuff that you're going to hear from him. You're going to hear my take. There's going to be some real stuff. So stay tuned for that.
First of all, congratulations. I see your tears. What are your emotions feeling like right now going to the Super Bowl?
I'm just so proud of this team, man. You don't know how hard this year has been, bro, battling the injury and coming back, being around the right group of guys, man. Great quarterback, great OC, great team, great head coach, man. It made it all worth it, man. All the hard work, man. We got one more, man. I just want to rejoice and take this moment in and just be thankful for God. It's hard, man. So we got one more, man.
So, Steph, that rehab that you had to get back here, you called this most fulfilling year of your career. There were some people that wondered, would you come back and be the same player? What did you want to prove to yourself and to the world?
Man, they was calling me washed. Said I ain't having no more, man. I just wanted to, I just wanted to prove it to myself. I am who I say I am. E took a chance on me. This team took a chance on me. I just wanted to make them proud and make them. Just thank you, man. I'm thankful.
Steph, I remember the last time you were at the AFC Championship, you watched the Chiefs celebrate. Now we're full circle, and you're celebrating. Can you put into words the journey of getting back to here and accomplishing your goal?
Hey, God don't make no mistakes, man. I had a real journey, man. I'm just thankful to be where I'm at. People just don't know how hard it is, man. I give all the glory to God. I stand firm, 10 toes, man. That was a great team that we just played. We fought hard, man. I'm just thankful to be where we are right now, and shout out to God, man. He did his big one.
Last one for me, your quarterback. He gets that last.
That's a soldier, man. That's an MVP, man. That's a guy that stands 10 toes, battles through adversity, man. He's a hell of a player, man. I'm riding with Drake May, man. I'm thankful to have a quarterback like that, and I'm going to give him everything I got every time.
Absolutely, man. You're going to the Super Bowl.
So that was Stefon Diggs post-game after winning the AFC Championship with the Patriots and speaking and talking about the journey, of course, his injury and all that he went through and stuff like that. October 29th, 2024, he basically was done for the season after his injury, after having a good season with the Houston Texans. Remember, he was traded to Houston from Buffalo. And Stefon Diggs has always been a ready guy. I call Stefon Diggs a ready player. He's 32 years old. He's playing in his, 10th season in the NFL. He's had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1,000-yard seasons. He had 496 yards before he got hurt in 8 games with Houston last season. He was going to get 1,000 yards. Stefon Diggs brings his lunch and is ready to go. He would have probably, including this season, would have had 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons if he didn't get hurt last year. So I don't think Stefon Diggs started his career in Minnesota with 720 yards, 903 yards, and 849 yards. That was his first 3 years, and that was a young Stefon Diggs. And then from that point on, 1,000 yards, 1,500 plus, 1,200 plus, 1,400 plus, 1,100, 496 when he got hurt, and of course 1,000 this year with New England. He was not pushed aside because of his injury. His personal life is why he was pushed aside. And I could tell anybody that. And why I'm elaborating on this so much is because a lot of people say my personal life doesn't matter. It does if you're in the public eye. It matters a lot. There are employers that are watching this, whether it's your social media or watching videos, it doesn't matter. Stefon Diggs had a very interesting postseason. He still came to play and still did what he had, and I applaud him. I wish he could instill that in his brother, but his brother is his own man. But your personal life and how you behave on TV, on social media, will reflect on teams' decisions if they want you. And that goes for all the high school players in all sports across the world. I say that to every high school player. I always speak that with players locally. Make sure your social media is clean. And if you're in the public eye, make good choices of who you surround yourself with. Stefon Diggs was not courted heavily this offseason because he was in situations that was all over the internet, all over TV, all over social media, that was not appeasing to those that are running their football programs and they're running their football teams. That's why he wasn't signed. He wasn't signed because he got hurt and people think he's done. I would have told you Stephon Diggs would come back and give you 1,000 yards. He's a ready guy. Personal life is why he didn't get signed. And if you don't believe me, go check. And I've spoke to several people who are not NFL close. When I say that, former scout, people who know people. Personal life is why. And I said that. I said to them, I said, there's no way I would have signed him back in Minnesota. Seriously, I love Stephon Diggs. I love Stephon Diggs, a football player. The personal Stephon Diggs, that's none of my business. So, Stephon Diggs gets to a Super Bowl. He can do some great things, and he has an opportunity to win the chip. So, congratulations to him. And like I said, folks, always be cognizant of what you're doing outside your profession. People are always ready to get rid of you. Money is a thing for them. So, but ladies and gentlemen, that was the NFC AFC Championship edition of the Pick6 podcast. One show to go, week 22. And you know what that is, the Super Bowl, Santa Clara. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. I will talk to you all after the Super Bowl. Stay tuned for that. I'm out. Peace.